Hi all, my name is Charlie Ryan and I'm continuing some of the bite-sized videos on feedback. Went down really well with you guys over the last few weeks. So this bite-sized video is some information on how to tackle somebody whose dress code hasn't come up to the expectation that you would want for your business. Now, two things really. First of all, have you set the expectation of dress code? Do your people and everybody there in general, including how you uphold it, do they understand what you expect? And do you breathe what you expect them to deliver in terms of dress code? So if you don't, that's the first thing to change. And just because you haven't done it so far doesn't mean you can't be clear and set the rules or reset the rules of expectation as to what's okay and what's not. As long as you're not massively changing the dress code from their maybe implied expectation, then that's fine. So if you have set expectation and everyone understands what are not upholding it, then it is your responsibility, especially on behalf of others, to hold to account the individual who isn't. And that needs to be done very quickly. That cannot wait for a one-to-one meeting, because otherwise, by not addressing it, you're sending a message that even though you've seen it, you think it's okay. So you're implying that you're okay with it because you haven't handled it. So for me, when dress code isn't upheld, straight away, I grab a meeting with someone, just grab them for 5 minutes and just ask them in terms of what they understand the dress code to be for the organization and how they feel that what they're wearing today, how do they feel they're upholding that expectation. So again, the open questions, always open questions. I often find that in tackling dress code, and probably I can give you 2 examples actually of what I've tackled in the past. I often find that by complimenting what they're wearing, but then making it clear it's not appropriate for our environment, goes down very well. So there was one girl who it had too much of a V on it for me in terms of cleavage. So I just took her into a room for 5 minutes, and I said to her, look, I think you look great. I said, you know, you're going out in the evening, you look absolutely fantastic. But my concern is for our work environment, I don't want my clients looking here when they need to be looking here at you. So it is really important that we do uphold business dress code. And, you know, business dress code, how you're dressed at the moment is showing too much cleavage for our environment. And it went down absolutely fine. She totally understood it. And yeah, we had no problems. But again, I did tackle it straight away. Now, if I had left that go for months and months and months, and or if there were other people in the organization who I hadn't tackled, then that would be a problem. Okay, so these things you have to be on the button on them and very, very quickly. Okay, really, really important that you're on it very, very quickly. The other thing I've had was inappropriate shoes. Somebody wore, and continued to do it actually, wore a trainer style shoe on me. And I said to them, you know, that isn't appropriate dress code for our office environment. So can I please ask you from tomorrow to make sure that you do wear a business shoe? And then the next day, or was it 2 days later, I came in and still it was an issue. So I tackled her straight away then, and I even did that in open plan so everyone could see my expectation. And she fought back a little bit. So just to give you an example, you know, I said to her, you know, let's call her Charlie for the sake of it, so I'm not releasing names, but Charlie, those shoes, we've already discussed that they are inappropriate dress code. And she came back at me saying, well, I'm not a girly girl. I don't wear high heel shoes for work. And that's just not what I am. And you have to be ready to go back with something on that as well. So again, your open questions will help you tackle things like that. And I went straight back with, and what was it about what I said that made you think I wanted a high heel girly girl shoe? And then she said, oh, nothing. Right, so I am going to bring you back to our dress code expectation of our business, which is a business shoe and not a trainer style shoe. So you have to be able to hold your own. Remember, if someone throws something back at you, to open question them, to push because they will push some of the boundaries, and she did. So it's important that you're tackling that straight away as well. Okay, so coming back to the initial one we did on feedback, listen, acknowledge, open question, and continue to open question until you get your point across and they understand the expectation. Okay. Do be very careful handling this. I'm not saying you can just do this off the bat. You can't. If your environment's been a certain way for you, then you mustn't, because you're changing expectation. And to change expectation, you need to take a different journey with everybody. And that's a massive communication journey first. But if there are people maybe of late who've suddenly started to lapse in their dress code, you're trying to bring them back to the norm, then this would be a good way of doing it. Okay, I hope that helps, and speak to you all soon.